I think it's deeply important, and it's certainly something we've been seeing across our client base here globally at Deloitte. The two groups kind of work like this. I like to call them casually the short-termists and the long-termists. And here's the idea. The short-termists are looking at this AI moment, and for that matter, automation writ large, but certainly this generative AI moment. They're looking at it as sort of a weight loss pill, right? A crash diet, a means of doing today's work with fewer people, right? So you might paraphrase that mentality as, "Hey, good news. We've automated Toby, so we don't need Toby anymore," right? Oh, poor Toby. Now the long-termists, they're looking at generative AI as rocket fuel for elevated ambitions. They're looking at it as a means to free people's time so that they can get busy redeploying those people to their strategic backlog, aka the woulda, coulda, shoulda stuff that you tend to kick the can on because you're so busy slaying today's dragons, right? And so you might paraphrase that one as, hey, good news, right? We've freed Tina's time, right? So that she can work on that big important strategic project. And here's Dad, here's kind of the meta rub, right? The long termists are going to find that there's these newly available skilled people out there in market, like Toby, that they can put to work to help Tina. And so, one of the best pieces of advice I got years ago was one of my business partners. He said, Mike, you can't shrink your way to success, not in the long run. And Don, that really I think spoke to me then, but it gives me geeky goosebumps now because what we're seeing is that the crash diet crowd, they're going to please their stakeholders for a quarter or two, but over the long haul, right, over a year or two, they're going to start to see that these folks who are thinking about elevated ambitions, longer term success, they're going to come for them in a big way, right? And they're eventually going to eat their lunch.
What I'm hearing you say is that AI can be like this rocket fuel that you're talking about. It can really enable the talent that a company develops in a very, very significant way. And so having this pro talent mentality can be critical to long-term success.
Don, I couldn't agree more with you. One of the contrarian surprising findings in our Deloitte Tech Trends research this year um, is that in an age of quote unquote, creative and intelligent machines, creative and intelligent people matter more, not less. And we were fortunate. I was fortunate to be asked to give a keynote at South by Southwest in March, and one of the one of the big takeaways of that talk was this idea that our future is about people raised to the power of tools, right? So, but poor man's equation, if you will, future equals people raised to tools. Here's what I think we mean by that. And Don, here's why I think it lines up with your experience and what you just shared. You know, think about a tool like fire, right? If we can be really broad and, like Homo sapiens level, approach to technology, right? Um, if a person uses fire mindfully, they can cook their dinner, right? If they use fire maliciously, they can, you know, do harm to their neighbor's home, right? And then between those two, right, the often forgot one is between mindful and malice is mindless, right? So if you play with fire like a knucklehead, you'll burn your fingers, burn your hair, whatever, cause little m mayhem. Well, here's the thing. Imagine that we replace fire now with fission, right? Nukes. It's still a tool. It's still a form of fire, fire plus plus. Um, you use fission mindfully, you can cook all the dinners in the neighborhood thanks to a reactor and a power grid and the whole nine yards. You use fission with malice, well, you know, you could do a lot of harm to a lot of neighborhoods, right? You know. But if you use it mindlessly, right, you create, a you get a containment breach. You get something like the news headlines, the wrong kind from the 70s or the 80s, right? Knuckleheadery amplified. Well, what we're seeing, Don, is if you look at AI as just the next in a series of emerging technology multipliers, you say, okay, yeah, you use AI really mindfully, you'll create technology that Arthur C. Clarke said so well, it's indistinguishable from magic. You use it with malice, you get what Nick Bostrom would call an extinction level event. But what we find is that middle one, that mindlessness, that's where you just tend to get scaled knuckleheadery, right? Right? Emergent malignance, right? Algorithms that are unintentionally biased, right? Uh, Augmented virtual reality experiences that increase wealth inequality or exclude everybody from all the wrong things. I guess the short version, man, is tools amplify who we are, and so who we are and what we intend matters more, not less. If anything, the business case for a classic liberal arts education just went up a couple thousand notches because stamping out ignorance is going to matter a lot more when you're talking about super tools.